hello there, and thanks for joining Uncomplicated Math today. Today we're going to be looking at how to multiply fractions, and by the end of this video you'll know the steps involved when multiplying fractions. So let's get started. So in question number 1, we're being asked to multiply 1/6 times 2/3. So now looking over to the right hand side here under our steps involved, we can see that our first step is to multiply our numerators. But before we do that, we're actually going to go ahead and rewrite this equation down below so that we have more space to work with. And now that we've rewritten our fractions down below, we can go ahead and move on to step number 1, which is to multiply our numerators, or we're going to multiply the top numbers in our fraction. And when we multiply 1 times 2, we get 2. So now we can move on to step number 2, which is to multiply our denominators, or we're going to multiply the bottom numbers of these fractions. And when we multiply 6 times 3, we get 18. So now we can move on to step number 3, which is to simplify the fraction. And we can see here that both 2 and 18 are multiples of 2, so we're going to go ahead and divide both our denominator and our numerator by 2 to simplify this fraction. And when we divide 2 by 2, we get 1, and when we divide 18 by 2, we get 9 for 1/9. So when we multiply 1/6 times 2/3, we get 1/9. So now looking at question number 2 here, we're being asked to multiply 3/4 times 4/5. So remembering our first step is to rewrite the equations down below so that we have more room to work with. And once we've done that, we can go ahead and multiply our numerators, or we can multiply our top numbers in these fractions. And when we multiply 3 times 4, we get 12. So now we can move on to step number 2, where we're going to multiply our denominators, or we're going to multiply the bottom numbers in these fractions. And when we multiply 4 times 5, we get 20 for the fraction of 12/20. So now we can move on to our last step, which is to simplify the fraction. And we can see here that both 12 and 20 are multiples of 4, so we're going to go ahead and divide both the denominator and the numerator by 4 in order to simplify this fraction. And when we divide 20 by 4, we get 5, and when we divide 12 by 4, we get 3 for 3/5. So when we multiply 3/4 times 4/5, we get the fraction of 3/5. So hopefully by now you understand how to multiply fractions. Help make math less complicated by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. As always, enjoy today's math journey.